My angles are 3. The next two levels of repositioning are going to require less movement. As you get older, the body likes to move less. So we have to figure out, it's great when you're young, he throws a punch, I can jump out of the way and do all this motion. It's great, I still like to do it. But I'm starting to really like the smaller movements and more refined. So the second type of reposition, first one was your leading factor, okay? Peripheral vision, lightening of the foot, okay? He rotates, throws a punch, I step, and I move, okay? The next one is I'm going to adjust, I'm going to switch my visual plane, and I'm going to go to tunnel vision, but I'm going to set my body first, okay? What I'm going to do, as we talked about before, using the feet to manipulate body structure so that we can move to the angles of the octagon quickly. We're going to take the right foot, we're going to bring it in slightly, and bend the knee. When I compress this, it pushes me to this angle. Okay? So if I had a box here and I was doing leaning factor, I would be moving outside of the box. I would be moving big. Right? For this one, I want to move slightly. Probably better if we do it this way. Okay? So, leaning factor, he throws the punch, his foot moves out, and I create distance. I am basically moving around my opponent. Okay? The next one, the manipulation, is going to move me, but it's going to move me shorter. Right? And because I manipulate this foot, I can now use tunnel vision because my body is set to move. So as he throws the punch, I slip slightly. Okay? Notice how this gives us a different distancing here. Okay? So I'm closer to him. Right? It's just as simple as that. Take the foot, move it in, manipulate the leg, tunnel vision, as fast as you can, Sensei, throw the punch. Okay? And you're going to move. Right? Again, we're creating that 90 degree. Right? The third way is the feet don't move at all. Okay? And for some people who view this, they're going to say, it doesn't work. Right? Well, it really does. And I fought it for many years with Hans Jutnik, and finally I had to succumb to, he's right. Right? So this has several things involved in it. A, when your body skeletal structure is locked, you need to create a release before you can move. You need to essentially create a relaxation effect on the body so that the body can move quickly. Body moves much quicker when it's relaxed than it is when it's tense. Right? When I'm standing straight up, the body skeletal structure is essentially locked. Right? So what I'm going to do for this is and you can use any joint. I particularly like to use the knee. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift the knee and bring the foot up. So if you'll get close to that, I just basically lift the knee. Right? And what that does is allows my muscular skeletal structure of my body to relax. Right? The next component that ties in with this is the fact that you have to cut angles, because if you're not moving your body out of the way, you have to cut angles. Right? So if I look at my opponent, and this is angle 1 and 2 here. Right? This is angle 1. If he cocks his shoulders to throw the punch, stop. Right? And then he throws the punch. Right? I don't really need to deal with angle 1 unless I want to attack and move in. What I need to deal with is angles 5 and angle 7 for the right and left punch. Right? So if we look at the path that this arm takes right here, you're going to see the motion. And you're also going to see that this elbow is at my angle 5. Okay? So I first relax the musculoskeletal structure. I use tunnel vision. He throws the punch. I cut to angle 5 of the octagon, and I manipulate. I change the arc of the punch. So now, in essence, I am making my opponent move around me. Okay? This is something you got to try. It's something you got to practice, and it's something that you have to gain confidence in order for it to work. So I take my right heel, I bring it up, bring the knee in. He throws a punch. I bring this up, and then I use my pedaling footwork to create that imbalance in his body. The weight transfer that we discussed back in the stances. Okay? So I adjust, he throws a punch, cut, and I bring it to here. If I want to cut to the inside doesn't really matter. He throws a punch, I might hit and go to the inside. This is quicker. You'll see that the feet will be pedaling slightly as I manipulate his body structure. I relax, he throws a punch, cut, and I bring him in. Now I don't take him in. All right, very easy to do. So your three types of body manipulation, three types of engaging your opponent with escaping is A, big, leaning factor, peripheral vision, move out of the way. Okay? B, I'm going to adjust the foot in, create a lock or a block to push me to angle 3. I use tunnel vision. Okay, so I no longer have to use peripheral. He throws the punch, I push, and it puts me to the same position. The last stage is body manipulation, tunnel vision. He throws the punch, I set the angles, and I position him. Right? These are probably the three major growth points that I saw in Hansi Jutnik through the years. When I first met him, it was the leaning factor, peripheral vision. Some years later, he told me that this body manipulation that pushes you here is now the leaning factor. And I fought it and said it's not the leaning factor, but it is. It's a more efficient way of doing things. And now, when you see Hansi Jutnik move, you don't really see him move. Everything is coming from here. And he's figured out a way to make it work. So these are probably the three most important developmental stages that I've seen over the last 25 years with him. And this is part of your escaping and repositioning. When we come back, we'll go to the next step. Okay, the next thing for escaping is something we call the continuity drill. This is a drill that's used to teach a lot of what we just did, along with the 90-degree and having continuity in your movement with an opponent. One of the most important things in the continuity drill is your ability to have a touch point. Right? Because we're going to be moving on the opponent's motion, and we're going to be doing it several times. Continuity drill, let's do this. So it's a basic escaping that we've just done. Okay, and the first way we're going to do it big. All right? So you start with the leaning factor. He's going to throw the punch. I'm going to create a contact point. Right? The reason for the contact point is the eyes, just using the eyes on him and seeing when he's moving to give me my key to move, we can be fooled. The eyes are betrayers. So the idea behind this drill is to enhance your peripheral vision skills and your touch skills. So from here, I have a touch on him, and I'm looking at Drew peripherally. Okay, I can see everything. If he takes this knee and he just tweaks it out a little bit, I can see it. Okay, I'm looking for motion. So I'm going to use the conjunction of motion and touch to be able to move. All right, and now this is where the 90-degree principle comes in. So if Sensei is throwing a punch here, I'm going to vacate this space and I'm going to move to another angle. When I feel him rotate, I'm all the while keeping contact. He throws the next punch, and then move back. He throws the next punch, back here. He throws the next punch, and then back here. He throws the next punch, here. Okay? So this is the continuity drill. The idea is for you to feel the stimuli that you need to move. Okay? He's going to punch. I might move inside. He throws the next punch, and cut outside. Throws here. I want to keep this guy. Yes. I'm Right. This develops very, very good escaping and very, very good timing. Okay. So when we talk about the 90-degree principle, it's very important in the use of continuity drill that you understand that 90. Right. So since he throws a punch, I move here. Now I have to look at his angle of his next strike. Okay. And if I do that, and I position this here, and I put a straight line on the end of that punch, that gives me my two optimal angles of escape. Okay? We have to understand, you can escape to any angle, but if it's not the 90, it's not going to be strategically good for you. Okay? So he throws a punch here. So if his punch is coming here, and I use this as a guide, this angle and this angle are my two angles optimal angles for escape. This angle would be for total escape. This angle would be for escape and engagement. Okay? So if we're back here, and he rotates, and I decide to use this angle, this is an angle of total escape that I can take, maybe find a door and get out of the situation. If he throws that same punch here, and he throws it back, and I cut it here, this is my escape for engagement. Okay? This allows me, if he decides to throw the next punch, this allows me to interject, I can strike, I can manipulate, whatever. All right? So it's very, very important that you understand that. So if he throws a punch, I'm going to take that back angle of escape. Okay? Now, the punch is coming here. Extend the punch, okay, and here. I draw a line on it. Those are my two angles of escape. So if we go back, and he throws the next punch, and I cut out here. Throws the next punch, and cut to 90. I need to think of where that attack is coming from, and I need to mentally visualize the two angles that I have. He throws the next punch, I'm going to rotate behind him, all the while keeping in touch. He throws the next punch, I'm back, I'm ready to engage again. Throws the next punch, cut out here. Throws the next punch, out here. Throws here, I might check. From here, I create distance. He decides that he wants to throw a punch, that's where we can interject our kicking. Realize that the continuity drill is good for many, many things, and we'll show you a couple different variations of what you can throw in there. But the basis for it has to come from knowing the 90 and knowing how to escape. So I use a leaning factor here in the beginning. He throws a punch and I move. Now, in order for my escaping to be on time, I still have to stay manipulated during this whole thing so that I can move quickly. So in essence, what I have is I have a heavy and a light foot. Okay? So right now my right foot is light. As I feel him move, I'm going to take the light foot and I'm going to move. Now if you look at this foot is light, similar to a cat stance. Right? He throws the next punch, I'm going to move that light foot. He throws the next punch. Throws the next punch. Throws the next punch. Throws the next punch. Okay? So a couple different things, very, very important to remember, is the 90. Know that 90. Know your two best angles of escape. Know that the one is for total escape and the one is for escape and engagement. Okay, and we'll come back and take this further. Okay, so now we're going to take and we're going to do the continuity drill, and we're going to show you applications for changing the distancing. You as a practitioner have short range, medium range, and long range weapons. You have short range weapons, which is short atemi, ono atemi. You have medium range weapons, which are your punching, striking, and then you have your long range weapons, which is your kicking. As you're doing the continuity drill, and this is something that you guys need to scale up on as you get better at. First thing you want to do is get that drill down and understand the 90 and the angles for escape and engagement, and start to develop a continuity with it. That's why it's called a continuity drill. You need to develop a continuity with the movement of your opponent. When he moves, I move. If you're moving too soon, it's going to put you in a bad situation. So, the next level when you do this is to be able to move to different distances with each step. So since I throw the punch, I manipulate it out of the way on a short range distance. Okay. From here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick my angle. Punch is coming basically from 7 to 8. I'm going to take 6. As he rotates, I'm going to shoot back long range now. Okay. This allows me kicking range. Okay. From here, punch is coming from 1 and 2. I'm going to go 3. Now I'm medium range. Okay. He rotates again. I cut back on short range. He rotates. Maybe I cut it here. Now I'm long range. This would be a side kick here. He throws the next punch. I shift just a little bit. Now I'm short range again. Okay. Very important for you to start varying your distances, because then you can apply your weapons. Continuity drill has several stages to it. Right? One of the stages is void filling strikes. So since I throw the punch, I'm here and I'm using short to medium range. Not every time, but when he rotates, when I feel rotation, I'm going to throw a void filling strike in there. for safety purposes, we're just going to use the back of our fingers and not actually make a fist and hit him with the knuckles. So as he rotates, I'm going to hit a touch. He rotates, hit a touch. And I'm going to move. Rotates again, bang. Runs into a back fist. Rotates again, and hit. The idea behind a void filling strike, we're going to get into this more in the striking section, is that when Sensei throws a punch, and I need to hear, understand, remember, my hand is right in the middle. This is the center pole of the octagon. Okay? As I feel him start to rotate, slow Sensei, stop. He has to pull his hand out of the way. And there's a slight gap between the punches, because obviously they're attached to the shoulders. So as the spine rotates, one's going to pull out of the way and one's going to hit. All right? Well, as I feel this, I'm going to hit. He moves, I feel it, I'm going to hit. So I want you guys, as doing continuity drill, cut these angles, move back, change your distancing. He rotates, I slip to the side, I'm close again, move back in, forward strike, little kick in between, parry. So one of the levels when you do continuity drill is to be able to interject a void filling strike in between. It does not always have to come to the head. Okay? He throws a punch, here he throws a punch, he rotates, hit here, and then cut. I can hit the projecting side and then still cut to the angle and still create the 90. All right? Another thing that you want to apply in your continuity drill is checking. Okay? And that has to deal with receiving the amount of space that the shoulders have, or the hips, or the knees, for the retraction and projection. Okay? If Sensei throws a punch right here, one side's projected, this side is projecting, seeking retraction, this side is retracted, seeking projection. Okay? So he throws a punch, this projects. Now, when he throws the next punch, this shoulder has to come back to about here in order for this punch to hit. So knowing this, as he rotates, I'm going to check that motion. He rotates, he throws another punch, I escape. He throws another punch, he throws another punch, he throws another punch, I'm going to check. Speed up rotation, come back. Okay? So as you get used to doing this, there are different levels to this continuity drill. Okay? The important thing is for you to work on changing your distance, go from small, medium to long range. Mix them up. Okay. Also, the idea behind this continuity drill is confuse your opponent. Okay. Now, another thing that you can add into this is the use of striking and throwing. All right. So he throws a punch. I'm working on my escaping. Okay. He's moving. I'm working on my escaping, and then decide when I can avoid a strike and create a throw. He throws a punch, I escape. Escape, throws the next punch, I hit. I trap a limb, and I turn it into a lock. He throws a punch, I move, rotate, stop, and attempt. Okay? All of these things are components that are added into the continuity drill. Okay, now as a more advanced level of doing the continuity drill, as we talked about, there are you moving around your opponent and you moving your opponent around you. We take the continuity drill and we shrink it down. We start to cut angles with it, okay? So, Sensei throws a punch, little slip. He rotates, I'm going to speed this up right here. He rotates again. I'm going to cut the angles. He rotates again. I'm going to cut it through here. He rotates again and do a little check. He rotates again. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we're basically not moving very much at all, but we're taking his strikes and we're redirecting and carrying them. So he's punch, slip here, rotate, bring back, check a little bit, rotates through, comes through here, cutting down, rotates through again, bring him here, and I check him off and escape. Okay? So, take what we've taught you so far, the 3 levels of receiving a strike, and shrink down your footwork. Okay? He's going to punch, if I slip to the side, it just brings me that far. Now, from here, I'm dangerously exposed to this punch, but because I have contact with the center, when he starts to rotate, it allows me to manipulate him and move him off. So, do your escaping big, do your escaping medium, and then as you become more comfortable with it, then you just got to kind of here, rotate. All of these punches, the viewer may be saying that this guy's not trying to hit, and that's all stage. He's punching right for me, okay? It's up to me to guide and redirect those strikes. He throws a punch, maybe I decide to cut it out far this time. Okay, he thinks I'm going to run, throws the next punch, now I'm right back here again. Okay, this allows me the room and the reach to be able to manipulate.